Ben Affleck's Thanksgiving plans have just thrown him into one of the trickiest family dramas Hollywood has seen in years. You might think that planning a holiday gathering would be simple, a time to bring family together, share laughs, and create memories. But for Affleck, it quickly became a tense battlefield, not with coworkers or studios, but with two women who have shaped his life in very different ways, Jennifer Garner and Jennifer Lopez. The story begins with a plan that seemed innocent enough on the surface. Affleck wanted to host a blended holiday celebration, combining his three children with Garner, Violet, Serafina, and Samuel, with Lopez's twins Max and Emmy. The idea, at first glance, might appear heartwarming, a father striving to unite his children from different homes for a single festive occasion. Yet, as insiders reveal, the plan was doomed almost from the start. Behind the scenes, tension simmered. Garner, fiercely protective of her children and careful about any situation that might drag them into public drama, immediately rejected the proposal. Lopez, meanwhile, reportedly felt blindsided and emotionally strained, wary of the complex history between Garner and Affleck. The combination of past relationships, co-parenting boundaries, and public scrutiny meant that what should have been a joyful holiday was instead a delicate negotiation fraught with frustration. It's easy to underestimate the emotional weight of these dynamics. Affleck, caught between two strong-willed women and trying to navigate both households, suddenly found himself in a position that no holiday planner would envy. The public might see only photos of him stepping out alone or casual captions hinting at family time, but the reality is far more complicated. Every decision, who spends time where, what's shared publicly, how emotions are managed, is magnified by the spotlight. And it's not just about the children or the logistics. This holiday story touches on deeper issues of trust, lingering feelings, and perception. Lopez allegedly views Garner as someone who still holds sway over Affleck, while Garner insists that her only concern is protecting her children and maintaining calm. Affleck's intentions might have been genuine, but even the best-laid plans can crumble when emotions and history collide. By the end of this story, you'll see how a single holiday plan spiraled into public speculation, private tension, and a lesson in how complicated blended families can be, especially when fame and past relationships amplify every detail. What started as a simple idea to bring everyone together ended up exposing rifts that no one could ignore. Ben Affleck's vision for Thanksgiving sounded simple on paper: a warm, blended family gathering where all five of his children, Violet, Serafina, Samuel, Max, and Emmy, could spend the day together under one roof. For many fathers in similar situations, the idea of merging two families for the holidays is appealing. It signals unity, creates shared memories, and gives the children a sense of togetherness. But with Affleck, nothing is ever just ordinary, especially when public perception and Hollywood history weigh heavily on every choice. Sources reveal that Affleck approached the plan with optimism. He imagined laughter echoing through the house, kids running between rooms, and parents finding a temporary peace in a setting meant to be joyful. His goal seemed clear: to show both families and the world that co-parenting could work harmoniously, even amid complicated past relationships. For someone trying to navigate life after high-profile romances, this idea may have felt like a rare opportunity to create a positive moment for his children and, perhaps, for himself. Yet, insiders hint that from the beginning, the plan faced invisible hurdles. Garner, meticulous and highly protective of her children's well-being, immediately raised concerns. She reportedly feared that a blended gathering could expose the kids to emotional strain or make them collateral in adult tensions. Lopez, on the other hand, was dealing with her own reservations, wary of any situation that might highlight lingering conflicts or past insecurities. In essence, Affleck's plan was met with caution from both sides. Despite his best intentions, it's important to remember that blending families isn't just about logistics. In Affleck's case, It meant navigating decades of history with Garner, rekindled speculation about his relationships, and Lopez's complex feelings toward him and his ex. Every decision, even the most innocent ones, became loaded with significance. Would the children feel comfortable? Could the adults keep personal feelings aside? Would this appear in the press the way he intended, or become fodder for gossip? For Affleck, these were high-stakes questions, turning what should have been a festive plan into a delicate balancing act. Despite the challenges, Affleck reportedly remained hopeful. Sources say he tried to pitch compromises, aiming to satisfy both parties, while still creating a meaningful holiday. But even with his best intentions, the underlying tension between the two Jennifers made agreement nearly impossible. The idea of a unified Thanksgiving was quickly slipping from possibility to improbability, hinting at the storm that was about to follow. In the end, Affleck's holiday proposal wasn't just a scheduling issue. It became a window into the intricate, emotionally charged dynamics of modern co-parenting in the public eye. What seemed like a simple plan to bring his children together revealed deeper fractures, which would soon make headlines and put Affleck squarely in the middle of a high-profile family drama. Jennifer Garner's response to Ben Affleck's Thanksgiving proposal was swift, firm, and unapologetic. Sources report that the moment she heard about the idea of a blended holiday gathering, she immediately drew a line in the sand. "Not comfortable," she told Affleck, insisting that her children should not be pulled into a situation that could potentially stir tension or drama. For Garner, this was never about being difficult. It was about protecting her three children, Violet, Serafina, and Samuel, from being caught in the middle of adult conflicts and public scrutiny. Garner has long been known for her hands-on approach to parenting. She carefully manages her children's exposure to the media, aiming to shield them from the relentless gaze that comes with being the child of a Hollywood power couple. In her eyes, the Thanksgiving plan wasn't just a logistical challenge. It was a potential minefield. Bringing Lopez's twins into a shared holiday event, she likely felt, could introduce unnecessary emotional strain for her kids, or worse, expose them to unwanted attention from fans and paparazzi. Her decision wasn't a reflection of her feelings toward Lopez, but rather a protective instinct that has defined her parenting style for years. While the public may see Garner as the measured, composed ex, insiders hint at the deeper layers of her stance. She reportedly wanted Affleck to find another way to divide time with the kids, emphasizing that his attempt at a unified holiday wasn't appropriate. There's a strong sense that Garner views the family dynamic as delicate, and that her top priority has always been stability. She wants celebrations to be joyful for her children, not stressful or confusing. Her rejection, firm yet calm, underscores how seriously she takes this responsibility. The rejection also sent ripples through Affleck's plans. Garner's refusal wasn't combative, but it left him facing an uncomfortable reality. The blended gathering he envisioned would not happen, at least not with her cooperation. For a father trying to balance the expectations of two households and maintain harmony, this was a major setback. Garner's stance highlights a broader truth about co-parenting in high-profile situations. No matter how well-intentioned a parent may be, boundaries are crucial. Her rejection served as a reminder that protecting children sometimes means making difficult choices, even if it disappoints others. It also set the stage for Lopez's response, which would further complicate Affleck's vision of a peaceful, united holiday. By drawing a firm line, Garner made it clear that her children's well-being comes first, and that even a holiday plan with the best intentions cannot override that principle. While Jennifer Garner made her position clear, Jennifer Lopez's reaction added another layer of tension to Ben Affleck's holiday plan. Sources suggest that Lopez was equally hesitant to participate in a blended Thanksgiving, but her reasons were more complex. Emotionally, she reportedly felt strained by the idea, wary of navigating a situation that involved lingering history, public scrutiny, and her own perception of Garner's influence over Affleck. Insiders claim that Lopez has long viewed Garner as a formidable presence in Affleck's life, someone she believes still holds emotional sway over him. According to reports, Lopez allegedly sees Garner as the real villain in her own troubled relationship history with Affleck, interpreting his past bonds with Garner as a lingering connection. Even if Garner denies any romantic involvement, Lopez's suspicion appears to persist, making the idea of a shared holiday feel uncomfortable and risky. Lopez's concerns weren't solely about perception. There were genuine emotional stakes. Blending two families with young children is already challenging, and doing so under the weight of past relationships magnifies that difficulty. Sources reveal that Lopez feared potential conflicts might arise, or that her children, Max and Emmy, could feel tension between households. For her, the possibility of a day meant to be joyful turning stressful was enough to decline the invitation. The emotional friction between Lopez and Garner also adds to the complexity. Though both women have publicly tried to maintain civility, insiders indicate that there's an undercurrent of tension, fueled by history and unspoken rivalry. In this scenario, Affleck's attempt to merge families became more than a logistical problem. It highlighted unresolved feelings and suspicion that neither party could ignore. Lopez reportedly put on a brave face in public, showing composure and charm. But behind the scenes, she was frustrated and disappointed. Sources suggest she interpreted Affleck's revised schedule, separating the households instead of combining them, as an indication that Garner still heavily influences his decisions. In her view, what might have been a shared family moment instead reinforced divisions and reminded her of the delicate balance Affleck has to maintain between his ex and his partner. The result? Affleck, caught between two strong-willed women, found himself navigating an impossible scenario, trying to honor both mothers while keeping the children at the center without sparking conflict. Lopez's rejection, like Garner's, underscored the difficulty of merging families in a high-profile, emotionally charged environment. What seemed like a simple idea to bring everyone together revealed deep-seated tensions, past suspicions, and the reality that in some family situations, even the best intentions can't overcome the complexities of history, emotion, and human relationships. Caught in the middle of two powerful personalities, Ben Affleck's position during this Thanksgiving debacle has been far from enviable. On one hand, he wants to honor his children's desire for a happy, memorable holiday. On the other, he faces the firm boundaries set by Jennifer Garner and the cautious, emotionally charged stance of Jennifer Lopez. What should have been a simple effort to bring family together quickly transformed into a high-stakes balancing act. Affleck's struggle is not just logistical, it's deeply personal. He's publicly recognized as a loving father, but every move he makes is scrutinized. Sources describe him as visibly stressed during recent public appearances, often photographed looking tense or reflective as he navigates a path that seems to have no easy solution. Even the most minor decisions, when to see which children, how to coordinate schedules, or how to handle public perception, are amplified under the spotlight. The pressure of satisfying two households, each with strong opinions and protective instincts, has created a complex web that he must carefully untangle. Insiders suggest that Affleck genuinely hoped Thanksgiving might serve as a moment of connection and healing, a chance to show that co-parenting could work even amid challenging past relationships. But the rejection from both women made it clear that a blended gathering was impossible without compromising someone's boundaries or emotional well-being. For Affleck, this isn't just disappointment, it's the realization that, in some situations, intentions don't always translate into reality. Adding to the stress is the perception of Garner's continued influence. Reports indicate that Lopez has, at times, felt that Garner's input heavily shapes Affleck's decisions, which complicates the dynamics further. Even if Affleck's decisions are driven by genuine care for his children, navigating these perceptions requires delicacy, diplomacy, and constant emotional awareness. Every gesture, every plan, and every interaction carries weight, because in high-profile families, nothing is ever just private. Despite the tension, sources describe Affleck as trying to maintain calm and act in his children's best interest. He's reportedly considering separate celebrations, hoping to split time between households while avoiding direct conflict. Yet, this compromise is far from simple. It underscores a broader truth. Being a parent in the public eye, especially when past relationships and strong personalities are involved, can turn even joyful holidays into complicated negotiations. In essence, Affleck's struggle highlights the emotional labor of co-parenting under scrutiny. He's attempting to meet everyone's needs, maintain public composure, and protect his children, all while dealing with history, emotion, and expectation. The pressure is immense, and the stakes, the happiness of his children, and the peace of two households, are high. What seemed like a simple holiday plan became an emotional tightrope that tested his patience, diplomacy, and resolve. The collapse of Ben Affleck's Thanksgiving plan highlighted just how complicated blending families can be, especially when history, emotion, and public scrutiny collide. What started as a hopeful attempt to bring all 5 children together quickly unraveled, exposing the challenges that even the most well-intentioned arrangements can face. For Affleck, the reality was stark. Despite his optimism, the dynamics between Garner and Lopez made unity nearly impossible. Insiders suggest that Lopez felt totally let down by the failed plan. She reportedly interpreted the decision to separate households as evidence that Garner's influence over Affleck was still strong. Even if Affleck's intentions were purely about his children, the optics and underlying emotions were enough to create tension. Lopez, often described as emotionally intelligent and careful, had to navigate her disappointment while maintaining public composure. Behind closed doors, however, frustration simmered. What should have been a joyful day instead became a reminder of the fragile balance between families with complicated histories. For Garner, the outcome reinforced her protective instincts. She prioritized her children's stability, choosing to shield them from emotional turmoil rather than push for a combined holiday that could spark conflict. Sources describe her approach as calm yet firm. She was not interested in revisiting past dynamics, and her focus remained on creating a secure, consistent environment for her kids. This careful, measured stance may have frustrated Affleck and Lopez, but it reflected a broader commitment to parenting above all else. The situation demonstrates how even minor attempts at blended family harmony can be disrupted by lingering emotions and misaligned expectations. When past relationships, public attention, and personal feelings intersect, even the simplest gestures can carry unintended weight. A holiday gathering that should have been lighthearted instead became a microcosm of broader challenges in co-parenting, showing how boundaries, perception, and emotional baggage influence decision-making. Affleck's experience underscores another key point. No matter how thoughtful a plan is, real-world dynamics, especially involving strong personalities and high-profile histories, can derail the best intentions. It's not about failure. It's about understanding limits and recognizing that each family member's comfort and emotional well-being must come first. By the time Thanksgiving approached, it was clear that the envisioned blended celebration was no longer feasible. Instead, separate gatherings became the only workable solution, highlighting both the limitations and complexities of creating harmony in blended families. What should have been a simple day of togetherness ended up as a high-profile illustration of how intricate, delicate, and emotionally charged co-parenting can truly be.
With the failure of the blended Thanksgiving plan, Ben Affleck had to pivot quickly, figuring out how to navigate the holidays without further inflaming tensions. Sources reveal that he began arranging separate celebrations. Jennifer Garner would host her children privately, while Jennifer Lopez would plan her own gathering with family and close friends. For Affleck, This compromise may not have been ideal, but it allowed him to honor each household's boundaries while still being present in his children's lives. Affleck's adjustments also highlight the delicate art of co-parenting in high-profile situations. Splitting time between two households is never simple, especially when past relationships, media attention, and personal emotions are all at play. Sources say Affleck may even spend portions of the holiday alone, a decision likely meant to avoid unnecessary conflict while still maintaining his presence for the children. This speaks to the extreme balancing act required when navigating blended family dynamics under the public eye. For Garner, maintaining a private and stable environment for Violet, Serafina, and Samuel is the top priority. Insiders describe her approach as focused and deliberate. She ensures that her children feel secure, unburdened by adult disagreements, and shielded from public drama. Meanwhile, Lopez is reportedly handling her own household with similar care, ensuring Max and Emmy experience a warm, joyful holiday without tension. Both mothers are demonstrating how protective parenting can sometimes mean making difficult, even inconvenient, choices. Even with separate celebrations, the story doesn't end neatly. Affleck remains at the center, trying to meet his children's emotional needs while respecting the boundaries of both women. The situation underscores just how complex co-parenting becomes when ex-partners and current partners are all invested in the well-being of children, yet also navigating history, emotions, and public perception. Every choice carries weight, and missteps are highly visible. The failed blended Thanksgiving also serves as a reminder that intentions alone aren't enough. Affleck's original plan, though well-meaning, collided with the reality of unresolved tensions and protective instincts. What emerges is a story of compromise, adaptability, and the careful negotiation required in blended families, particularly when fame magnifies every decision. Looking ahead, the focus appears to remain on the children. Separate celebrations, careful planning, and measured actions are the strategies Affleck, Garner, and Lopez are relying on to maintain peace. Yet, while the holidays may pass without major incident, the underlying dynamics of this high-profile family will continue to demand attention, patience, and emotional intelligence. The lesson is clear: even in the world of Hollywood, blending families is as much about emotional management as it is about scheduling.
Ben Affleck's Thanksgiving drama offers a rare glimpse into the emotional complexity of co-parenting in the public eye. What started as a hopeful attempt to unite his children under one roof quickly revealed the delicate balance between past relationships, protective parenting, and public perception. Garner and Lopez each maintained firm boundaries, prioritizing their children's emotional well-being over the optics of a blended family gathering. Affleck, meanwhile, found himself caught in the middle, navigating a path with no easy solutions. The episode underscores a broader truth about blended families. Intentions, no matter how sincere, cannot override the emotional realities of those involved. Garner's protective stance ensured her children remained shielded from potential stress, while Lopez's caution reflected lingering concerns about history and perception. Affleck's role, balancing love, responsibility, and diplomacy, highlights the enormous pressure placed on parents in high-profile situations. Every choice is scrutinized, every plan dissected, and every misstep magnified by the public eye. Yet, there is a silver lining. Even amid tension, all parties appear committed to prioritizing the children. Separate celebrations may not be the ideal picture of a united family holiday, but they demonstrate a willingness to compromise and act in the best interests of the kids. Affleck's attempt, though unsuccessful in its original form, still reflects a desire to connect his children and manage complex relationships with care. The story also leaves lingering questions for fans and observers alike. Will future holidays see a more successful attempt at blending the households? Can Garner and Lopez find ways to collaborate for the children's sake, or will boundaries remain firm, keeping the families separated during key celebrations? And how will Affleck continue to balance love, loyalty, and diplomacy in a situation where the stakes are both deeply personal and publicly magnified? In many ways, this Thanksgiving saga is more than celebrity gossip. It's a lesson in modern parenting under pressure. It's about managing emotions, setting boundaries, and finding solutions when compromise is the only viable path. For Affleck, Garner, and Lopez, the holidays may have highlighted tensions, but they also illuminated the importance of protecting children, respecting limits, and navigating family dynamics with care. As the spotlight shifts and the holiday season continues, one thing is clear: in blended families, especially those in the public eye, there are no perfect solutions. Every plan, every attempt at unity, carries risk and potential reward. And for Ben Affleck, the lessons of this Thanksgiving may shape the way he approaches family gatherings, co-parenting, and public perception for years to come, leaving fans wondering what will happen next.